Now, let me first of all state for the record, I'm double jabbed. And for me, it's not about the vaccines per se. It's a debate as a broadcaster I had gotten involved with as a reporting on the latest developments on the jab, the science, the evidence, the efficacy. But I'm not a scientist, so I don't speak about the vaccines. I speak about the mandates and about consent and what that means. Now, in answer to your question, why I think we've ended up in this situation, I believe we're in a bit of a moment, such as the moment that historically we experienced with the invention of the Gutenberg press and the 30 Years' War. The internet has democratized access to information. The state, though it still, as we see in Canada, has a monopoly on violence, it no longer has a monopoly on the narrative and on information. And even if you think prior to the internet, with the advent of the printing press and books, that was an example of the state losing a monopoly on, for example, access to the Bible. And in those days, the church and the state represented the same thing. Now, today, that effect has played out with access to the internet. So there was a narrative that we were being told to believe, and claims were made at the beginning of this health crisis, such as President Biden saying that if you get vaccinated, you will not catch COVID. He's on the record saying that. So there was a narrative, and that was the state narrative. And what's happened is that people refused to stop questioning. People refused to stop holding power to account and began speaking to each other online. And that's disrupted traditional power hierarchies, a bit like the printing press did. And what that does with that disruption is it causes unease and it causes tension and conflict. We're in that moment right now, and the state is struggling against its own people to define the narrative, in other words, to define reality.